Chosen One Valentine's Day doesn't make everyone feel lonely, but it almost always targets the chosen ones, because this day exposes what superficial love cannot satisfy and what divine purpose refuses to settle for. If you are feeling unusually heavy, disconnected, or isolated while the world celebrates romance, this message is not random. This is God speaking directly to you, chosen one. Your loneliness today is not because you are unlovable, behind, or forgotten. It is because your spirit operates on a frequency that shallow love cannot reach. Chosen ones are wired differently. You don't crave attention, you crave alignment. You don't seek validation, you seek truth. And because of that, God often separates you before He elevates you. Valentine's Day amplifies this separation because it exposes the contrast between performative love and purposeful love. And God never allows a chosen one to be comforted by something temporary when they are called to something eternal. While others are distracted by gestures, God is refining your discernment, because He knows that if you were to connect with the wrong person, it wouldn't just break your heart, it would interfere with your assignment. This loneliness is not abandonment, it is insulation, God shielding you from emotional attachments that would drain your oil, weaken your authority, and delay your calling. Chosen ones often experience loneliness not because they lack love, but because they carry depth, and depth intimidates those who only swim on the surface. Valentine's Day highlights this reality because it forces you to confront what you truly desire, not just partnership, but purpose-aligned connection. God isolates chosen ones strategically, especially before major shifts, because solitude sharpens hearing, strengthens identity, and strips away dependency on people. If you're alone today, it's because God is reminding you that your identity was never meant to be sourced from another human being. Chosen ones cannot afford emotional dependence because their mission requires clarity, strength, and wholeness. The reason past relationships felt draining, confusing, or one-sided is because you were carrying more than love. You were carrying light, and not everyone has the capacity to handle that without trying to dim it. Valentine's Day brings memories, comparisons, and questions, but for the chosen one, it also brings revelation. You were never rejected, you were removed. God pulled you out of situations where you were overgiving, overextending, and over-sacrificing for people who benefited from your heart, but were threatened by your destiny. This day hurts because it reminds you of what you poured out, but God reminds you that nothing poured out in obedience is ever lost. Chosen ones love deeply, intensely, and loyally, and that is exactly why God guards their heart more fiercely than they understand. The loneliness you feel today is actually your spirit refusing to bond with anything that is not sent by God. Others can tolerate being with someone just to avoid being alone, but chosen ones cannot, because misalignment creates internal conflict, and God will always choose your peace over your comfort. Valentine's Day is painful for chosen ones because it confronts the illusion that love equals proximity, when in reality, love equals purpose alignment. God knows that if He placed you into a relationship before you were fully anchored in Him, you would compromise your boundaries to keep the connection, and chosen ones are never called to shrink to be loved. This season of aloneness is teaching you to stand without leaning, to love without losing yourself, and to wait without doubting your worth. You are not being delayed, you are being prepared. Chosen ones are often alone before elevation because intimacy with God precedes impact among people. Valentine's Day magnifies the silence, but silence is where God builds authority. You are not lonely because no one wants you, you are lonely because not everyone can access you. God separates chosen ones because proximity is a privilege, not a right. The ache you feel today is not longing for a person, it is longing for alignment, safety, and divine recognition, and God promises that He will not give you counterfeit love just to quiet your emotions. This day is exposing how far you've come. You no longer chase, beg, or settle, and that is proof of growth. Chosen ones evolve out of chaos and into clarity, and clarity often feels lonely before it feels peaceful. God is teaching you that love should never cost you your purpose, your faith, or your self-respect. Valentine's Day is a test for chosen ones, not to see if you can attract love, but to see if you can remain faithful to your identity when love is absent. And you are passing the test simply by not returning to what God already removed. This loneliness is sacred, It is the space where God recalibrates your heart so you can recognize real love when it arrives, not emotionally attached to familiarity. Chosen ones are protected from premature intimacy because premature intimacy creates soul ties that complicate destiny. God knows the weight you carry, the influence you will have, and the lives connected to your obedience, which is why He refuses to rush your connections. Valentine's Day feels heavy because it touches the place where you once questioned yourself, but now it also reveals that you no longer measure your worth by who chooses you. You are chosen by God first, and that selection changes everything. This season is teaching you that being alone is not the same as being lonely. Being lonely is feeling unseen, and God sees you fully. The world may overlook you today, but heaven is attentive to you. Chosen ones often walk alone because their path is narrow, their calling is specific, and their purpose cannot be crowdsourced. God is not withholding love from you, He is reserving you, and what is reserved is never treated casually. The silence of Valentine's Day is not empty for you. It is charged with preparation, alignment, and divine timing. When love finally meets you, it will not distract you from your purpose, it will walk with you in it. Until then, God is teaching you to stand strong, whole, and complete, not because you don't need love, but because chosen ones are called to love from overflow, not from lack. For the chosen one, Valentine's Day is not just a reminder of absence. It is a spiritual mirror that reveals how far you have been separated from the world's patterns, and that separation is not accidental, it is intentional. God never isolates chosen ones without purpose. He does it because their hearts are too valuable to be shaped by crowds and too powerful to be influenced by trends. While the world measures love by attention, gifts, and validation, God measures love by alignment, endurance, and sacrifice. And that is why you feel disconnected today, not because you lack love, but because your soul rejects anything that is performative or temporary. Chosen ones are not designed to blend in on days like Valentine's Day. They are designed to feel the contrast, because contrast creates clarity. This day exposes how deeply you have been rewired. There was a time when you would have chased messages, settled for breadcrumbs, or questioned your worth based on who showed up, but now you sit in silence, and although it aches, it no longer controls you. That is growth. That is spiritual maturity. God is showing you that you no longer need external reassurance to know who you are. The loneliness you feel now is different from before. It is quieter, more reflective, more discerning, because you are no longer afraid of being alone. You are simply aware of what you will no longer tolerate. Chosen ones go through this phase because God is severing old emotional dependencies that once kept you tied to people who benefited from your light but resented your authority. Valentine's Day stirs memories of past connections, but God is not calling you to revisit them. He is calling you to recognize why they could not follow you into this version of yourself. You have outgrown environments where love required you to explain yourself, dim yourself, or prove your value, and growth always feels lonely before it feels peaceful. God isolates chosen ones in this season because He is recalibrating their standards, not just for relationships, but for life. You are learning that access to you is sacred, that intimacy is earned, and that not everyone deserves the depth you carry. Valentine's Day becomes uncomfortable for chosen ones because it exposes how rare genuine connection truly is, and rarity always comes with isolation. God knows that if you were surrounded by the wrong people right now, your discernment would be compromised, your focus diluted, and your obedience delayed. This is why He allows silence to sharpen your hearing. This is why He allows solitude to strengthen your backbone. This is why He allows loneliness to detox your heart from emotional noise. You are not missing out, you are being set apart. Many chosen ones mistake this season as punishment, but it is actually proof of trust. God only separates those He intends to use. Valentine's Day reveals another truth for the chosen one. You no longer romanticize potential. You no longer fall in love with words, promises, or future versions of people. You have learned, through pain, to watch actions, consistency, and character, and that wisdom did not come cheap. God allowed you to be disappointed so you would become discerning. He allowed you to be hurt so you would become anchored. He allowed relationships to fail so your identity would stop being built on who stayed and start being built on who you are in Him. Chosen ones often experience delayed love because premature love would have distracted them from the internal work required to carry what God is placing on their life. Valentine's Day highlights the waiting, but waiting is not wasted time, it is training. You are being trained to love without attachment, to desire without desperation, and to stand firm even when emotions fluctuate. God is teaching you mastery over your feelings, not suppression, but alignment. The world teaches people to numb loneliness with distractions, but God teaches chosen ones to sit with it until it reveals truth. And the truth is this: you are not lonely because no one wants you. You are lonely because not everyone can meet you at the depth God has taken you to. Chosen ones often feel misunderstood, unseen, or out of place because their inner world has expanded beyond small talk and surface-level affection. Valentine's Day magnifies this because it forces you to confront how different you've become. You don't want chaos disguised as passion anymore. You don't want attention without intention. You don't want chemistry without commitment. And because your standards have risen, your circle has narrowed. God is pruning, not punishing. Pruning always feels like loss before it produces fruit. This season is uncomfortable because God is preparing you to receive love that does not require self-betrayal. He is rewiring your nervous system so that peace feels normal and inconsistency feels wrong. Valentine's Day is revealing how much healing has already happened. You may feel the absence, but you no longer feel the urge to chase it. That restraint is power. That stillness is authority. Chosen ones are learning that silence is not rejection, it is discernment in action. God is also showing you that the love meant for you will not arrive through confusion, mixed signals, or emotional instability. It will arrive with clarity, respect, and spiritual safety. Until then, God keeps you in His presence because His presence stabilizes what passion once destabilized. Valentine's Day is a checkpoint for the chosen one, a moment where God asks, can you remain faithful to your identity even when desire is triggered? And every time you choose not to lower your standards just to avoid being alone, you pass another test. You are proving that you are no longer ruled by fear of abandonment. The loneliness you feel today is not pulling you backward, it is pushing you forward, stripping away your attachment to timelines, comparisons, and external pressure. God is teaching you that your life is not late, it is layered. Everything you've endured is stacking wisdom, depth, and discernment that will protect you later. Chosen ones do not receive love easily because easy love often comes with hidden costs. God knows the weight of your calling, and He refuses to pair you with someone who would resent your growth, compete with your purpose, or require you to shrink. Valentine's Day feels quiet because God is preserving your energy. You are being taught to love from overflow, not from emptiness. This season is not about learning how to attract love, it is about learning how to sustain it without losing yourself. God is building something in you that cannot be rushed, replicated, or replaced. And when the right connection finally appears, it will not interrupt your peace. Until then, the silence is doing more work than you realize. Heaven is not ignoring you, heaven is investing in you, and chosen ones are always prepared in private before they are celebrated in public. For the chosen one, this season of loneliness, especially on days like Valentine's Day, is not the end of the story, it is the turning point where heaven begins to move quietly but decisively on your behalf. What you feel as stillness is actually alignment taking place behind the scenes, because God never prepares you publicly for what He has not already secured privately. While it may seem like nothing is happening, spiritual shifts are occurring that you cannot yet see, and chosen ones must learn to trust silence more than signs. God is not testing your patience, He is strengthening your discernment. The reason you are alone right now is because God is repositioning you, so that when love does arrive, it will meet you at the level of who you have become, not who you used to be. Chosen ones never meet destiny while clinging to familiarity. Valentine's Day exposes the gap between where you were and where you are headed, and God uses that discomfort to break emotional attachments to old versions of yourself. You are no longer the person who begged, over-explained, or settled. You are no longer driven by fear of missing out or fear of being left behind. And that internal shift signals that a new chapter is approaching. God allows chosen ones to walk alone just long enough for them to realize that loneliness never destroyed them, it refined them. This realization changes everything, because once you stop fearing being alone, you stop being controllable. And uncontrollable chosen ones are dangerous to every system that tried to keep them small. Valentine's Day reminds you of what you don't have, but God is revealing what you no longer need. You no longer need external validation to feel whole. You no longer need to be chosen by people who lack the capacity to honor you. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. That clarity is the foundation God requires before He releases anything permanent into your life. Chosen ones receive delayed blessings because premature blessings create dependency, and God is building sovereignty within you. The love meant for you will not arrive to rescue you from loneliness. It will arrive to walk beside you in purpose. God is making sure that when love comes, it does not replace Him, override your calling, or weaken your authority. This is why the waiting feels long, because what is coming must match the weight of what you carry. Valentine's Day becomes prophetic for the chosen one because it exposes who still feels pressure to perform happiness and who is anchored enough to sit with truth. You are learning to sit with truth, and truth always precedes transformation. God is also dealing with people connected to your future, preparing them, healing them, pruning them, because alignment requires both sides to be ready. Chosen ones often forget that divine timing is not just about you being prepared, but about others being capable. God will not connect you with someone who would mishandle your heart, misunderstand your mission, or compete with your calling. That protection feels like delay, but it is mercy. Valentine's Day stirs longing, but longing does not mean lack, it means capacity. You have capacity for deep love, and God is ensuring that capacity is met with equal depth, not emotional immaturity. Chosen ones are often misunderstood during seasons like this because people assume loneliness means weakness. But in reality, it takes strength to remain aligned when options exist, but peace does not. God is teaching you restraint, and restraint is a form of power. You could settle, but you won't. You could distract yourself, but you don't. You could go back to what feels familiar, but you refuse. That discipline is shaping you into someone who can sustain what others lose. Valentine's Day is also exposing something else for the chosen one, your ability to grieve without regressing. You may feel sadness, but you no longer spiral. You may feel absence, but you don't abandon yourself. That emotional regulation is evidence of healing. God is not looking for perfection, He is looking for stability, and stability attracts permanence. The reason love hasn't rushed into your life is because God is removing chaos from your nervous system so you don't mistake adrenaline for affection. Chosen ones must unlearn survival-based attachment before they can experience divine partnership. This season is teaching you to recognize safety as attraction, consistency as romance, and peace as passion. Valentine's Day highlights the contrast because the world glorifies intensity while God builds endurance. What is coming for you will not be loud, rushed, or confusing. It will be calm, intentional, and secure. God is also restoring your relationship with time. You are no longer racing against deadlines, comparing your journey, or internalizing pressure. You are learning that what is meant for you cannot miss you. That truth dismantles anxiety. Chosen ones move differently once they understand this. They stop forcing outcomes and start trusting alignment. Valentine's Day becomes a reminder that love is not scarce, it is selective. And you are selective now, not because you are closed, but because you are clear. God is honoring that clarity. The silence around you is not a void, it is a buffer zone protecting what is being formed. You are being positioned to receive without losing balance. And when the shift happens, it will feel natural, not shocking. God does not surprise chosen ones with chaos, He introduces them to confirmation. The love coming toward you will not question your worth, test your boundaries, or compete with your purpose. It will recognize you. Until then, God keeps you hidden because hidden seasons build depth, and depth sustains destiny. Valentine's Day may pass quietly for you, but something eternal is being anchored within you. You are not falling behind, you are falling into alignment, and alignment always precedes arrival. What feels like loneliness now will soon make sense as preparation. God has not forgotten you. He is simply doing what He always does with chosen ones, preparing them in silence for what will speak loudly later.